Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Shiv Kumar News. Here I am reading the Hindu newspaper. My purpose in is improving my knowledge and English only, nothing else. Therefore, please support and guide me. This is today's first article. Joint Action Committee on Delimitation. Stalin tells CM. CM's six representatives from Odisha, Punjab, Bengal, plus Southern State first meeting for set for March 22 in Chennai to chart course forward. We must examine the constitutional, legal, and political dimension of his challenge, says Stalin. This issue transcends individual state concern. It strikes at the heart of our federal principle. We must jointly develop alternatives that preserve our current representations in the percentage MK Stalin, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister. Article published by the Hindu Bureau, Chennai. Drumming up support from chief ministers and from former chief minister of states like to be affected by the delimitation process. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin invited them to join a Joint Action Committee (GAC) in a letter on Friday. Despite the gravity of the issue, the centre has provided neither clarity or nor any concrete commitment to address states' concern, Mr. Stalin said. Besides the southern state of Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and Telangana, Mr. Stalin also hoped to include Odisha, Punjab, and West Bengal in the GAC as an initial step toward unified action. The Tamil Nadu Chief Minister proposed an inaugural meeting in Chennai on March 22 to chart our collective course forward. I believe this issue transcends individual states' concern. It strikes at the heart of the federal principle. Together, we must examine the constitutional, legal, and political dimensions of the challenge. We must jointly develop alternatives that preserve our current representation in percentage terms, Mr. Stalin contended in his letter. Unified advocacy is needed to secure a delimitation process that honors our role in nations building without compromising our current level of representation, Mr. Stalin said, asking each of his invitees to nominate a senior representative from their party to serve on the GSA. This movement demands leadership and collaboration, rising above political differences and standing up for our collective good. What is at stake is not any abstract principle, it is our state ability to secure rightful resources for development, to influence crucial policies, and to ensure our economic priorities receive due attention in the national agenda, Mr. Stalin said. Recalling all party meeting recently held in Chennai, he had the attendees they had resolved to stand united in defense of our constitutional right, demanding a fair delimitation. They had also resolved to form a GSC and reach out to all states which potentially face the same threat. He said, post 2026, the situation may become drastically skewed if the delimitation exercise is based on the next census. Mr. Stalin argued those states which control their population and achieve superior governance indicator will face an unjust punishment. Reduced representations in the very form where national policy were determined must not be penalized. Once implemented, this democratic imbalance could persist for decades, leaving this state with diminished capacity to advocate for their people's interest and influence critical national decisions. He said, for the record, we are not against delimitation itself, but we oppose its weaponizations against states that fulfill their national duty. The punishing progress, he clarified, citing report that suggested that the two approaches are being considered for the delimitation exercise, both based on population. Mr. Stalin said, in both scenarios, all the states had have successful implementing population control measures stand to losing significance if the exercise is based on post 2026 population. We should not with thus penalize for effective controlling population growth and uphold national development goal. In the first case, the existing 543 seats could be redistributing among the state, and in the second state, thus total number of the seats could be increased beyond 800. We had sitting reports. While the government had provided neither clarity nor a concrete commitment to address concern. Their representative has stated delimitation would be follow a pro rata basic without explaining the base used for such pro rata calculation, as well as resisting an empty rhetoric that no state will face a decrease in its seat, he underlined. This is our second article. Tech, engineering, medicine in Tamil Shah or Stalin. Article written by K. Kolappan Thakolam. This picture is our Home Minister Amit Shah. Union Home Minister Amit Shah on Friday urged Tamil Nadu Chief Minister F.K. Stalin to impart medical and engineering education in Tamil Nadu, addressing the 56th CISF Raising Day at the newly named Rajaditya Cholan Recruit Training Center (RTC) here in Ranipet district of Tamil Nadu. Mr. Shah that the various states had offered courses in their regional language. His suggestion come amid Mr. Stalin's allegation that the union government was trying to impose Hindi on the southern state through the national education policy. The Tamil Nadu Chief Minister should take steps to teach medical and technical course in Tamil. It will benefit Tamil medical students along with strengthening Tamil as a mother tongue, he said. Incidentally, Tamil Nadu has introduced Tamil medical BA BTech course in 2010 under the Karunanidhi government. Praising Tamil Nadu, Mr. Shah said whether it was administrative reform, achieving spiritual heights, sitting education AI standard, or promoting the message of unity and integrity of the country, the state has greatly threatened strengthen Indian culture in every field. In line with this, it has been decided to name the CISF Regional Training Center in Thokolam after the great warriors of the Chola dynasty. Rajaditya Chola, he said, the minister had that earlier there was no provision for writing recruitment examination for the Central Armed Police Force CAC in regional language, but now the youth could write examination in Tamil and other languages, including in a schedule of the constitution. So guys, this is our first article or editorial about women, an equitable future for women in science in India, written by Anita Seth, is a professor of the international health at the Johns Hopkins Blooming School of Public Health. Kamini Walia is a senior scientist at the Indian Council of Medical Research. With India continuing to push the boundaries of the scientific and technological advancement, it must ensure the full inclusion of women in this journey. Escalate action for gender equality. Now we start the article or editorial. Women in science navigate a many fields of challenge that often start early education barriers such as limited access to quality school and gender societal norm can discourage girls from pursuing science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. STEM for those who persist and for fortunate to get past these early hurdles, cultural expectations frequently demand that they prioritize family over career. Several geo-paradising professional growth, gender stereotypes further restrict opportunity, affecting hiring, promotions, and funding. Harassment and discrimination in academic setting and another dimension of hostility that push many women out of the field. A study of STEM scientists globally as well as in India, we see similar pattern. A study of STEM scientists across 38 countries reveals higher attrition rates for women driven by non-inclusive workspace, work-life balance struggle, the limited access to high-impact research. These barriers slow career progression and reduce access to senior role and professional network, increasing the dropout rate. The postdoc to facility transition is especially challenging for women with familial responsibility, low confidence, and lack of female role model cited as key factor as highlighted by research from the National Institute of Health. These barriers compel us to consider why it is vital to prioritize the retention of women in science. They were term drive creativity and innovation, leading to breakthrough by integration multiple perspective. More women in all science also result in role model for future generation, inspiring girls to pursue STM, promoting equity, ensure that women can contribute fully to scientific progress, in enriching society with a more inclusive workforce. This conversation has progressed little over the century. The Matilda effect, named after 19th century feminist Matilda Jones Gage, describes the tendency to downplay or overshadow women's scientific contribution in favor of their male colleagues, highlighting the historic struggle for proper recognition of women innovation. Nearly 200 years later, gender inequality in STEAM persists. Jacob Clark, Blickenstaff, and Leakey Pipeline metaphor describe women dropping out of STEM due to bias, pedagogy, a lack of role model, and hostile workplace critique as somewhat simplistic, and the model does not consider systematic or dynamic. A more recent tutors and ladders model focus on broader structural and environmental barriers, highlighted how mentorship access to hidden knowledge and career disruption disproportionately in the women, minority, and marginalized group, and face the need to address inequality within academic system. A survey across India examining the this concept is particularly vulnerable in the context of India, where conservative attitude abound. In an extensive survey across 98 institutions across India conducted in 2020-21, the proportion of the women faculty members across all the field was a mere 70%, ranging from 23% in biology to 8% in engineering. The proportion was even lower within higher ranked institution with dwindling ratio with senior career facility. The data show that the women scientists were vastly underrepresented at conferences and often overlooked in career enhancing activity. Addressing this challenge demand a reimagined approach that embraces diverse career paths and involve policymaker, institution, and scientific community in fostering inclusivity, partly for underrepresented and economically disadvantaged women. Approaches vary based on the timing of intervention. Early intervention, engaging parents, educators, and the broader social environment is key to lasting impact. We propose three key recommendations to improve the retention of women in STEM at the early and mid career level. First, institutional challenges such as flexible work option, affordable childcare, and policy supporting work family integration are essential. Second, public recognition of the board trims and obstacle in crucial, showcasing successful women in science, challenge stereotypes, inspire the next generation, and reinforce the need for greater visibility and representation. At the same time, calling out setback we exemplified by Bias Watch India can drive incremental progress by exposing gender equity in academia. Finally, a nouns approach across career stage is crucial, eliminating age restriction on grant, fostering mentorship networks, supporting career re-entry after break for family or personal reason, and amplifying senior women voices in leadership and decision making. Intervention: the Indian government has taken a significant step to advance gender equity in science and technology. The Department of Science and Technology (DST) launched the Gender Advancement for Transforming Institution Gati pilot in 2022, first in an inclusive environment for women and gender diverse individuals to STEM, supporting participation, boosting initiatives such as women in science, engineering, knowledge involvement in research advancement through nurturing or vice Kiran. The Women Scientist Scheme (WOS) program noteworthy effort include the Department of Biotechnology Career Advancement and Reorientation (BioCAR) program, which supports women scientists recruiting to research after career break. Additionally, the Indian Council of the Medical Research had several programs promoting women's health and training for women scientists. While this initiative reflects progress, they must scale into broader reform to ensure that women scientists are recognize, empower, and value. As India continue to push the boundary of the scientific and technology advancement, the full inclusion of the women in the journey is not only a matter of fairness but also an example of true progress that can set a powerful example for the world to eliminate. So guys, this is our next article. Himalayan tragedy: impact of natural disaster which are not very predictable can be controlled. Earlier this week, Indian Army and the Tibetan border police teams rescued 23 workers who were stuck in a rubble of snow and ice following an avalanche at Mana village, Uttarakhand. 8 workers died in the disaster, which occurred at a border road organization construction site that has housed 54 level in 8 containers. To say that the rescue operation was arduous would be an understatement. The rescue team worked in a near continuous 16-hour shift amid heavy snowfall at an elevation of 10,500 feet above mean sea level, with the road blocked by the snow. Helicopters were used to evacuate those rescued to the Josimath Army Hospital. 5 helicopters from the Indian Army, 2 from the Indian Air Force, and 1 civilian chopper. Along with the sheer physical effort expended in the extraction, the rescue operation employed a drone-based detection system to detect the containers that were buried under several feet of snow, ice, and rock. Avalanche in the Himalaya state, like the one in Mana, which is among the lost outposts in Indian territory and close to the border with China, are not uncommon. Villagers here have historical been winter migration, which means that during the winter month the village is deserted, coinciding with the ritual closing of the Badrinath temple in November. There is migrations to village lower down such as Gopeshwar and Jyotri Mutt for the winter, with residents returning only when the temple reopens in April or May. This is a paternal wisdom and has a lot to do with the historical experience of the upper Himalaya stretches being prone to disaster, where while this practice may have saved the residents' village, it still raises the question as to whether the workers, several of them migration, were adequately aware of the risk of their enterprises given the strategic location of the village and the need to develop improved roads or civilian and military assets. There will always be a sizable number of the people engaged in activity in regions that are inherently inhospitable and risk prone. Once disaster strike, effort focus on the rescue operation, and once they conclude, there is little reflection on whether preventive measure could have been taken. Avalanche cannot be predicted with precision, but steps can be taken to design containers that are safer to live in, can improve the odds of survival. There is much to learn from the way bomb shelters are imagined, of how research stations at Antarctica are designed. All of these require a greater sensitivity to workers who toil amidst hazard and not merely label these tragedy are inevitable consequence of natural disaster. Now we start short news. This is for foreign news. Addis Ababa, one dead, 180 missing after boat sink off Yemen, Djibouti. Say 10 m. 4 boats carrying migrants have sunk off Djibouti and Yemen, killing at least one person, leaving more than 180 missing. The International Organization for or migration said the sinking occurred on Thursday along a route. This is increasingly used by Ethiopian hoping to find work in Gulf countries or escape conflict. Barrett monitor says Syria Security Forces Executive 52 elevates in Latakia. A Syrian war monitor said Security Forces Executive 52 member of the Elevate minority in Latakia province, while the Interior Ministry referred to individual violations where clashes broke out on Thursday in Latakia province, the heartland of the Elevate faith and offshoots of Shiite Islam to which the Assad clan belongs. Colombo, Sri Lanka signed deal worth $2.5 billion with Japan to restructure debt. Sri Lanka signed a deal with Japan on Friday to restructure $2.5 billion in loan, making the first agreement with official creditor who had pledged debt relief to the cash-strapped nation. Last year, Japan said it was granting concession on 369.45 billion yen, $2.5 billion loan under the Comprehensive Debt Treatment Plan. Manila, Philippines set to sign agreement for troop deployment with Canada. The Philippines and Canada have negotiated a deal for deployment of troops Manila said on Friday. While the two parties held talk, no timetable was given for the deal. Manila already has similar pact with the United States, Australia, and Japan against a backdrop of China's action in the disputed South China Sea. Honing their skill. Indian batter gear up for Kiwi Spine challenge ahead of final. The Indian batter on Friday honed their skills again, left arm and off spin variation ahead of facing New Zealand. Mitchell Centre and Mitchell were still in the Champion Trophy final. They face Varun Chakravarti, Kuldeep Yadav, Akshar Patel, and Ravindra Jadeja before taking a samples local spinners. Reprimanded. Harmanpreet fined 10% of match fee for showing dissent. Mumbai Indians skipper Harmeet Kaur was fined 10% of her match fee for breaching the code of conduct in the victory against UP Warriors in the Women's Premier League on Thursday. She admitted to the level first one offence, which pertaining to showing dissent at an umpire decision. Tough outfit. Hussain back quiz to make it hard for India in title clash. Former England captain Nasser Hussain has backed New Zealand to fight hard against India in the ICC Champion Trophy. They will not bottle if they don't chalk all the way through the New Zealand lineup. They have some very tough cricketer who turn up to every single game and give their absolute best, he told Sky Sports. In the race, Gill nominated for ICC Player of the Month for February, riding on his super performance in the ODI series against England. Indian opener Shubman Gill has been nominated along with Australia's Steve Smith and Kiwi Glenn Phillips for the ICC Player of the Month for February. Gill scored 406 runs, average 101.50 at a strike rate of 94.90 in the 5 ODI that he played in February. So guys, this is our today one important vocabulary word, infrequent. It is adjective Hindi meaning सामान्य, rare, synonymous, uncommon, unusual, antonym frequently. Example stand, her visit were sudden and infrequent. So guys, this is today video. Please like, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channel for further more update and more video. Press bell icon for notification. Thanks for watching. We meet in tomorrow next video. Jai Hind.